right now.
Yeah, and also the rumor is in acquiring them, or not acquiring, but getting the TV rights for AEW by Turner, that they would put them on the Bleacher Report live app that should be launching, or it's already launched. I'm not too big into that, so I don't know. But that was also something that's been discussed as well.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest, we don't know the details. We're only going by rumor. The one thing here, the TV deal is one thing. The other thing that's a game changer, and it's been kind of alluded to, health coverage for these talents. Cody acknowledged that there's some sort of coverage that wrestlers get in WWE, but they're potentially offering insurance as well. So,
yeah, they kind of pivoted on that, where they have a disclaimer saying it's for
full-time employees of the company.
Well, they said full-time. They said full-time employees of the company, and I'm assuming that's kind of like what WWE is like in the office. But they did disclose somewhat that they're working on something for the talent.
Yeah, like I think Cody said in one of his interviews, there were so many interviews that they did after that little rally. He said, obviously someone gets hurt while they're in an AEW ring, that they're going to take care of them. So that was good to hear.
Yeah, and the other thing is, too, I mean, Kenny Omega hasn't been announced for anywhere. Someone, obviously I think for clickbait, someone was saying that Jericho almost alluded to Kenny's coming to AEW. I don't know. And honestly, with Jericho signing, I don't think anybody else who signs, unless it's like a Batista or, something like that, obviously that would never be the case. Yeah, but I don't believe that until I see it. But honestly, with Jericho, who's going to be more of a consistent talent than a Goldberg, but the name Chris Jericho carries so much weight. I think even a name like Kenny Omega, okay, it'll satisfy the hardcore fans, but for the casual fan, like a Hogan was back in his day and still is to this day, they hit a home run. I'll go as far as to say they hit a grand slam with the Jericho signing. And anything else after this, whether it be Marty Scurll coming in after his Ring of Honor contract comes up, whether it be Kenny Omega, whether it be, let's say, the other thing that's floating around is if Shinsuke, Finn Balor has been floated around, which I think is just BS for right now because I think they signed him to a longer-term deal. The other one that's been rumored, and I only take this as rumor because I don't see this happening even if this talent leaves, AJ Styles. Now, that's another name, though, that a casual fan will know, and he's super over obviously with the wrestling fan. But even with AJ Styles, having a guy like Chris Jericho coming in is the grand slam, but everything else is quite literally the cherry on top.
Oh yeah, I agree. I wouldn't be surprised if Omega does go to WWE.
I wouldn't be either, especially if they're offering decent 7-figure money. Then, but you know what the interesting thing is too with the rally and everything else that kind of accompanied it? I wouldn't be surprised if WWE even upped their offer because they're that desperate to have that guy that everyone's expecting to go there be on their programming. It's already obvious that they deem AEW as a threat, and they haven't even announced a television deal yet. So it's really gonna be.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
And it's someone that WWE and Omega, they've had their eyes on him it wasn't just
recently. This has been boiling for the last, 3 years or so, Dave?
He trained in OVW for WWE.
Yeah, Deep South and all of that, like, and they've kind of watched him grow in front of their own eyes when he went over to Japan, and there's been some eyeballs on him for a very long time in WWE. If they don't get him, that's like the equivalent of, you know, a big name free agent that the Yankees don't sign. Like, the Yankees generally get the big free agent acquisitions. If WWE cannot get Kenny Omega, like, that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, either way, I'm not surprised one way or the other, wherever he goes. I don't care where he goes, to be honest. But, like I said it on the show, I think last week, the way that Ring of Honor is now spending money, Sinclair's finally opened up their pocketbook to sign talent. They gave Bandito the more lucrative offer between AEW, WWE, and them. They were the one that offered the most money. So they're breaking out their pocketbooks for these talents too. So I don't know what Impact's financial situation is now or what it's going to be, you know, couple years down the line, but I mean, dude, it's going to be equivalent to pro sports right now, like, you know, Major League Baseball or football, where teams are fighting like tooth and nail to get these talents. This is what it's going to come down to. I mean, you're seeing that kind of stuff happening with WCW, but, you know, obviously the internet wasn't then as it is now, where you're going to see it all the time. But now you're going to see to what extent these companies, whether it be Sinclair for Ring of Honor, Anthem and Impact, you know, WWE and AEW, the Khan family and AEW respectively. I mean, geez, if this TNT deal lands and they get this boatload of money, I mean, now they can sign anybody. I mean, they can sign anybody right now based on the rumored budget. But, you know, and even Jericho was saying they're aggressively hiring people from all aspects, whether it be production, producers, talent agents, I mean, just everything. They're really going at it. And that's amazing. That's actually really cool to hear, too, that Tony Khan, obviously he's signing the checks, but how hard everybody's working to get this thing.
He's like you and I, man.
Dude, you obviously had to have watched Jericho signing that contract. He's there. I mean, honestly, I could hang out with that guy. And I wouldn't know that this dude his family's worth like $7 billion, and his dad's mustache is to be absolutely desired over. I mean, it's majestic as all hell. But either way, no, it's really, the landscape of pro wrestling is just, it's unbelievable. And for guys like Critical Mayhem, who I just had on before, I mean, companies like Evolve and many others are going to be looking for talents that want to step up. You know, it's a great opportunity for, you know, guys who are the indie darlings to make their money now, or even not so much the indie darlings, but they have the opportunity to make big money now. And the independents, the guys who are, you know, looking to get signed to Evolve and to get signed to WWN, whatever it may be, GCW, whatever, you know, get the exposure there, or whatever the case may be. There's opportunity for everybody, and it's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's awesome. If you want a little bit more of the revealing side of Tony Khan, X-Pac actually interviewed him for his podcast this week.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to listen yet.
They talked for quite a while, and he's like, signing Chris Jericho, he's like, was just like, I fanboyed because he's like the guy that I grew up watching and just loving. He's like, it was like signing Babe Ruth.
He's not wrong. He's absolutely not wrong, because, again, we talked about it before. his signing is the equivalent to Hogan's signing, and the equivalent of the Yankees purchasing Babe Ruth from the Red Sox. So I mean, again, Chris Jericho, and it's amazing though because of watching him from when he first started on WCW to now, like being that guy trying to get over in the main picture, like in that Goldberg, that famous Goldberg feud, backstage and on screen, to now being the man. And I have a cat lurking over my back right now. So yeah, this is the one good thing with Twitch. It's live and everything, and if the cat decides that it wants to jump behind my recliner and start clawing the crap out of my head, it would be live, and it's great because it's for somebody else's entertainment. But hey, Jamos, I'm gonna run out of time with the phone line here. Get your podcast plug out there real quick, and then I'll have to let you go.
Yeah, so how did it begin on Spotify, Apple, Google, all over the place? We should be dropping our premiere episode post-Royal Rumble. That's when we're going to release it, while everyone is on a wrestling high, or let's hope we're on a wrestling high after the Royal Rumble. And if you want to follow me on Twitter, at JMO, you can find all the links to the forum and my podcast, and thanks Dave for having me on.
Oh, of course. Thanks for coming on, and obviously we'll be talking soon.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, no problem. And that was my friend Jamels, and actually I'm going to hide this because now we're going to be past the allotted time for the phone line, but I appreciate Jamels for calling in and taking the time. So let me just fix this right over here. Here we go. End the episode. Alright, this wasn't ending the episode on Twitch, just over on the other line for the phone. And there we go. Excellent. So, if you have any other comments, please leave them in the Twitch chat. Anyway, so, yeah, I mean, Chris Jericho signing is, equivalent to Hogan. What they do after this, cherry on top, all the way. And it's going to be interesting to see what winds up happening from here. I would like to see... I don't know who else I would like to see. Like I said, anybody is literally a cherry on top. So I would like to... I'm very interested to see who All Elite Wrestling signs, who WWE retains, who they sign. And yeah, as James pointed out, that interview with Tony Khan with X-Pac, I have to still check that out. I still have to check out the full interview from Chris Jericho on Busted Open Radio today, which I'll probably wind up doing right after this. I'm ready. I'm ready, and I'm sure you, the fan, are ready for something different in the world of pro wrestling. So, I'm actually going to take off right now from the broadcast here tonight. I appreciate you all tuning in, watching, and if you're listening by way of Phil and the Boy Podcast Network and everywhere else, then thank you again so much for doing that too. It's all very much appreciated. It all counts. Thank you so much. And I did have a new follow here somewhere. I don't have the icons on, obviously. I'm a big X. Thank you for giving the follow as well. I really appreciate it. Anyway, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. I will be on next week here. Let's get this here straight. Next week, I'm going to be on with an interview with Grey Wolf. Then the week after that, on the 24th, I will be interviewing James Anthony. So be on the lookout. Again, on my socials for Phil and the Boy for the show. check them out. Make sure that you follow